And
How everybody do out there in YouTube land? I'm Quiet Storm Curtis here. Right now, the day topic is how to check people while getting fired. And pretty much I got on the phone with me is D Gutter. And we're going to pretty much break it down and the do's and don'ts. D Gutter, you there?
yeah, what's up? I'd like to say thank you for welcoming me to your show again. And I'd like to say everybody YouTube land, happy holidays.
Okay. Right now, we're going to talk about how to check people while getting fired in the workforce. Now, I normally this what you normally have to do. First of all, when you actually check people at your job site, okay, you gotta establish communication. Get the person direct eye contact, and pretty much resolve the problem from there. If that doesn't work, you actually go by chain of command. Now, most people don't understand what a chain of command is. It's like, for example, you just automatically don't go to the boss. You got the supervisor, so you pretty much go to the supervisor and you report that to the supervisor. And if that doesn't work, you pretty much make a paper trail. You write down, you document, you document everything what's happening, and then you pretty much take it to HR. Am I right, D Gutter?
Most definitely, you're right, Quiet Storm. Now, to deal with how to check people without getting fired, because these days you need your job. But you could check somebody in a professional way without getting fired. It is possible. One, just like Quiet Storm said, you have to pretty much establish some type of communication with you and that person. And you have to put a person on the side and say, listen, we have to talk. Establish communication, say we have to talk. Now, if that doesn't work, then you pretty much report to your supervisor. Now, if this report to supervisor doesn't work, then you have to create paper trail and take it to HR. So therefore, if it does something transpire, you have to defend yourself. You did approach you did the procedure, you did the proper procedures. First thing first, you did speak to the person, you notify the supervisor, and you notify HR. Because people, especially young black males, you need to keep your job. Because plenty of times, when I work and I work with HR department, young black males just, they just give up and say, F this job, I don't need this job. But sometimes the cases that they got, the HR, is winnable. They could win. But they pretty much come in the office with their heart in their sleeve and don't come with no type of strategy. And most people say, oh, why need to come straight to HR? You had to because you want to keep your job. Now, most people say, oh, that's a dead-end job, you don't care. But if you could fight it, fight it. And you have to come with a strategy. Hooping and hollering and hot air will not resolve nothing.
I definitely agree on that point. Shot and match don't work.
They welcome that. They welcome that. But if you come with a strategy, a plan, it's like playing chess. Life is playing chess. You don't want to play checkers. Chess requires you thinking and requires strategy before you move your pawn, before you move your knight, your brook, your bishop. The whole mission of chess is protecting the king. And once you check the king on your opponent's side, it's checkmate.
Game is finished. It's over.
Take it from there, Quiet Storm.
Yeah. The thing I basically experienced in the workforce is basically how to actually solve the problem. What I do is this: if I got a problem with an employee at the work site, I'll normally pull them by the coattail and basically communicate, talk, trying to solve that problem. Now, if that problem do not work, I mean, my bad. If that doesn't work, what I normally do is document everything was taking place. I build paper trails. That's what I do. Then, after I build a paper trail, I notify the supervisor. And pretty much, if the supervisor cannot address that matter or blow it off to the side, that's why it's very important for you to actually keep paper trail. Because paper trail will actually is document everything is taking place. Okay? And pretty much it's very hard for them to actually debate that because you got time, you got the date, you got everything taking place. So in a way they can say you impossible you make all this up here. Because you could pretty much you got paper trail. That's what it is. The pen, remember people, the pen is mightier than the sword.
I agree.
That's what it is. And what it is that the supervisor cannot address that matter, then you follow the chain of command. Now, most people don't understand what a chain of command is. Pretty much it's like the Navy, but I understand most of our viewers is pretty much like civilians and don't understand how the military works. Chain of command means that you don't automatically go to the boss. It don't work like that. You gotta start from the bottom. Like for example, pretty much you gotta speak to the supervisor. That's the supervisor's there for. And if the supervisor cannot address that matter, okay, you build paper trail. You document things. And pretty much when you present your case to the HR, you're gonna say, well, I did talk to the supervisor, the supervisor failed to do his job, didn't address the matter, and you come with the paperwork. Boom, right there. And pretty much the HR gonna try to find a way to rectify that situation and pretty much bring that person have a problem with to the table. And y'all guys gotta have to sit down and talk. That's what it is. The last thing you want to do is actually fight. You don't want to fight because when you fight, you lose. I mean, you get fired, and worse come out of it. They actually press charges because you do got people out there that's very petty, and they will try to press charges because the firing it should be at least off your mind. Fire. I mean, you can always get another job though, but when they put down when you have a criminal record. Now you got boundaries. Now you got roadblocks. Now everything's stopped in your past.
Definitely, I agree. I definitely agree with you quite strong. Definitely. And if you could fight it, fight it. And when you do go to HR, you got to come with a strategy, to come with a plan. And I think I didn't stress this enough. You got to establish communication with that person that pretty much, is giving you a hard time. You got to put that person aside, right? And if you put that person aside and if they fail to comply, or they fail to pretty much, don't want to listen and want to continue with their belligerent behavior, then you notify the supervisor. You have to go through chain of command. You just can't automatically speak to the vice president while speaking with management first, because that's what they got them there for. And always keep paper trail as a must. Always keep paper trail. And if it does happen, you have to get in physical contact with that person. Remember, you did all the necessary procedures. First thing first, you approach the person. You put a person aside, that didn't work. You notify the supervisor, that didn't work. You create paper trail, and you notify HR, that didn't work. And this person still pretty much, in your face. You have to defend yourself. But you have to take the proper procedure. Now, getting back to what I said, our last conversation, if you put your hands on anybody, you're going to lose anyway. And what I mean you're going to lose is that now the communication barrier is broken. It's not longer hear what I gotta say. That person feel violated, they feel disrespected, and they're gonna try to pretty much, either get you back dirty or fight you at work. So I'm just keep it 100.
And I agree with you on that point, D Gutter. But you gotta realize this: the last thing you want to do is pretty much settle your differences after work. That's the oldest trick in the book. Do not do it at all. Just walk away from it, because chances are you trying to fight outside of work, it actually go right back to the job. It goes right back to the job, and you end up calling the office. HR end up calling the office and actually firing the both of y'all at the same time. I'll tell you that right now. And actually, what you got to do is basically to solve that conflict, because I'm more like trying to bring solution to the problem. To solve that conflict is like a little fire, and pretty much that little it's like a little spark. Now before it ignite to a big fire, it's like levels. So if you know you can get along with that person, and you pretty much at each other, request for a transfer, and the transfer don't work at all, pretty much you gotta do documentation, document everything, write down everything was taking place, build paper trail. So when you do take it to the supervisor, pretty much the supervisor will look at the documents and see what actually was going on. Okay, that's what he or she gonna do. Now, what's supposed the person that you have beef with is friends of supervisor. This is how you do it. Like I said before, you document everything. You write everything down. You write everything down what's taking place. Okay, and pretty much trying to keep things to a bare minimum, and bringing the supervisor. You talk to supervisor first. And the supervisor don't want to do nothing about it because it's the best friend of the coworker, and you resent the documentation. Like, you document everything, okay, and you give it to the supervisor, and they pretty much don't do nothing about it. And remember, people, always make copies of the documentation. Anything you document, make a copy as a record for yourself. That's the way you actually cover your ass. You always keep a copy, no matter what, because you can easily lose it.
I definitely agree with you, Quiet Storm. And always remember, people, if you put your hands on that person, you pretty much lose the argument. Because you want to resolve the issue, not continue with the problem. And all the stuff that we told you before pretty much help you keep your job. You got, first thing first, you have to establish communication. You have to put that person aside. I think, even though it sounds redundant, especially to young black men, even though it sounds redundant, sometimes they say like 2 or 3 times to get through your head. So therefore, you have to go through the same path that we went through. First thing first, you got to establish communication with the person that you have a problem with. You put them aside. And if you unable to do it, or that person pretty much don't want to talk to you, then you go to the next step. You notify the supervisor, and you feel like the supervisor handled the issue correctly. You feel like you still have that problem. Then you pretty much you got a paper trail, and paper trail is very important, people. This is what we mean by paper trail. Paper trail is pretty much, describe in detail what the person is pretty much doing to you, making a hostile working environment for you. In detail, you start with the month, the date, the time, and the 5 W's: who, what, where, when, how, and why. And you got to follow up on it. You just can't. You just don't put in that paper trail and hope it resolve. It's not going to resolve itself. You have to follow up on it. What I mean by follow up on it, you pretty much You speak to the supervisor about the problem, and you put the supervisor on the side and say, listen, I'm still having a problem with this person, individual, individual, and the supervisor said pretty much he's gonna look at the paper trail, right? Then two things gonna happen. Either you're gonna have a meeting between you and that person, or pretty much send the HR. And the reason why we tell you the proper steps, because we pretty much want you to keep your job.
And we all been there. We all been there before.
We all been there before, because once you get terminated, especially you get terminated unjustifiably, that's the worst type of termination. You getting fired based on you getting fired of things you didn't did or say or done. That's a terrible way of getting fired.
That's the worst way to get fired on false accusation.
That's the worst way to get fired.
That's the worst way. Worse than that.
So pretty much, once again, you have to create paper trail.
I remember people.
Create paper trail. Pretty much. If it does get to a point that you have to defend yourself, you have paper trail.
Remember, people. Just because you lose your job, it's not the end of the world. You can always get another job. What we talking about, actually, how to keep your job, because anybody can get a job. A job is easy to get. The trick is to maintain it, to keep it. That's what we giving you the steps to actually to keep your job, so you can actually stay fully employed.
I definitely agree with you. There's plenty of times, when I go to the HR department, I see a lot of young black males going to HR department, frustrated, angry, and then pretty much when they do leave HR department, they get pretty much they terminated
because they lose because most of them they lose their cool, because what it is that they come emotional, and they pretty much they say F this job, F this, F that. That's what they want you to do. That's the old trick in the book. They want you to do that. They want you to come there with your heart on your sleeve, full emotional, and pretty much they fire you. That's all they want. That's what they're gonna do, fire you. And remember, people, when I mean you could easily be replaced, you could be replaced just like that. You're expendable. They could pretty much fire you and pretty much bring the next person in your spot. That's what it is. They could easily fire you and like a snap and bring the next person in your spot. Now, what I said before, let me put some clarity into this, because I think I wasn't clear the first time. How to actually keep your job while getting fired is what you got to do. The minute you come to work and you and that person cannot get along, you document, you write things down. Okay? At the finished document, write things down like a paper trail. Then you bring that to the supervisor. Okay? Now, if the supervisor cannot do nothing about it, okay, that's why it's very, very important for you to have documentation and write things down. Then you take it to the boss. Because the first thing the boss is going to say, oh, okay, did you speak to the supervisor, right? The last thing you want to say, oh, I haven't speak to the supervisor, I went straight to the boss. No, wrong. Don't do that. You gotta speak to the person that's basically second command. Like I said before, I always bring down to the military. You don't go straight to the captain. You steps. You gotta go to the sergeant. After the sergeant, you bring it to the lieutenant, and then you make your way up to the captain. It's like chain of command. Because what happens is that if you don't follow the chain of command, you got chaos. You got anarchy. I mean, everything come a disarray. Am I right,
yes,
Gutter?
I definitely agree with you on that, Quasco. The whole purpose of this lesson here is pretty much we want to see our young people, pretty much keeping their job and be gainfully employed. By you pretty much telling the person, the HR department, fuck this, fuck that, and all this.
Oh, wait a minute. Fair use. So, when I say fair use, people, it's fair use. I'll carry on.
So when you say F to HR, and you don't care therefore, and some of the cases that been brought forward to HR, definitely they could win. Once you put your hand to somebody, the communication is lost.
Yeah, you actually lost the war. I mean, you lost.
You actually lost.
I mean, let me put some more clarity to that. Not lost the war. You actually lost the fight because by you putting your hands on somebody. I mean, actually, forget about getting fired. Getting fired is the last thing in your mind. It's gonna follow by actually that person pressing charges, assault charges. And trust me, people, you don't want no assault charge on your record. You don't want that, because that'll follow you to the day you die. I'm telling you right now. Like I said before, through my previous videos, because right now, this is like my 13th live stream, and I did mention about before about the records. You got to have a clean record. Because most of these jobs out here, they do reference check, and they pretty much, you don't want that on your record. You don't want that follow you, definitely to a new job. You don't want that to follow you everywhere you go. It's very hard for you to shake. Tell you right now, assault charge is very hard for you to shake. Sexual harassment is very hard for you to shake. You don't want those things on your record at all, because that definitely will hold you back.
I definitely agree with you, Quiet Storm. And people, don't be discouraged. Don't be easy discouraged. Believe it or not, somebody is listening to you. Somebody is listening to you. Don't be in a situation that you did the necessary steps and nothing happened. Now you're being discouraged. Now you're getting frustrated. Somebody is listening. Believe it or not, somebody is listening. It just, unfortunately, you didn't have enough evidence for them to pretty much go forward with it. So, like we said before, you have to develop paper trail. And I'll be honest with you, people. If you pull somebody on the side, like we talked before, been speaking clarity and pretty much speaking confidence, and you put them on the side, you speak to them, they're gonna listen. They're gonna listen. Believe it or not, they're gonna listen. So, and if that doesn't work, you notify the supervisor, but stay in a chain of command. Do not take do not take your own initiative to go to upper management or pretty much go to the supervisor boss. But now you're disrespecting the supervisor. You're disrespecting him.
The last thing you want to do is step on somebody's toes.
That's the last thing you want to do. Now you got two enemies. You got the person at work you have beef with, and the supervisor as well. Give the supervisor a chance to do his job. Yeah, give them a chance to do their job. And if there is favoritism, and you feel like you can't get a fair deal whatsoever, then you pretty much just take it to HR. You bring your lawyer and you take it. But before you do all that, you got to have paper trail. It's very important. And when you do the paper trail, you got to be specific with the date, the time, the incident.
You hit the hammer. You hit the hammer around the nail. You got to allow the supervisor actually address that matter. You got to allow the supervisor to do their job. Okay, you don't automatically just pretty much look at the supervisor incompetent and automatically go to the boss. That's the last thing you don't want to do. You don't want to do that at all. You give it time. Matter of fact, you report the supervisor and you allow the supervisor to do the job. Allow the supervisor to rectify and also address that matter.
Definitely. I mean, once again, we on point, Quiet Storm. We both hitting the hammer right on the nail. And people, if you like this conversation, hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? If you're not going to subscribe, hit the like button.
Definitely hit the like button. Hit the like
And
button.
we're doing everything on the fly. This is not rehearsal. This is not practice here. And we pretty much, when we have conversations like this, we're not going to try to leave you in the dark. We're going to try to leave you. We try to leave you with information that could pretty much help you. Pretty much help you. So
Definitely. And I don't mean to cut you off, D Gutter, but also people, I got a PayPal, and if you're entertained and also informed, donate to my PayPal. Give $1. Any little bit helps because YouTube is not paying me. And matter of fact, YouTube pretty much demonetized actually demonetizing my video, and it's very hard for me to actually to get money. So I cannot even rely on the AdSense. Matter of fact, I rely on the subscribers that actually donate, and because of y'all guys, I like to give thanks to my subscribers that actually donate, my special subscribers that donate to my channel. Because of y'all guys, I can be able to bring fresh new content. So, like I said before, I got a PayPal. Give what you can give, and a little bit helps. All right, continue on, D Gutter.
And also, I want to touch up on just a little bit. We on the grind. I mean, Quiet Storm, me, D Gutter, we both had jobs. And right now, we burning the candle on both ends of the stick. Right now, we sacrifice. We are sacrifice. When we come for work, we pretty much we do this program here. We do a show, and we do a show information that you could use, you can learn from. So we definitely on the grind, and everything's on the fly here, on the grind. So once again, if you like what you hear, hit that thumbs. If you can't subscribe, hit that thumbs up.
Definitely. If you people, if y'all, definitely for the new audience, the new listeners, the new viewers. If you don't want to subscribe, hit the like button. Hit the like button. I appreciate it. It's 2017. There's no need to be cheap with the likes. The likes is free of charge. It don't cost you a dime. Don't cost you nothing.
Definitely agree. Now, in order to getting back to the topic, how to maintain your job and how to deal with how to correct a conflict at the workplace. Now, the step that we tell you, like Quiet Storm said before, you got to stay on top of it. You have to do a follow up. What the how can I say? You have to do a follow up with the write ups. With the incident you write up about, you got to follow.
You got to do a follow up with the documentation that you actually present to the supervisor, and it goes to the HRA department.
Yes, you just can't document situation and then you expect the supervisor to do their job and you expect to correct the stuff. It's not gonna happen. Only way to correct itself and resolve, you have to put your effort in it. You have to do a follow up. You have to do a follow-up with it. You have to do a follow-up. So therefore, you do two things. First thing, not two things. Sorry, people. I'm kind of tired, just got for work. But do all the steps you have to do. First thing first. I know it's kind of redundant, but we'll keep on saying it until, young people, especially young black people, you got to say it 3 or 4 times for me to get it. First thing first, you pull the person on the side. If that doesn't work, you do paper trail.
Now hold on. When you mean by pulling person on the side, you trying to address the matter and you trying to resolve it before it escalate, because it start as a little spark before it turns to a fire. So what we mean by saying pulling person to the side, pretty much you trying to address the matter and trying to come up with a quick solution before it escalate.
Yes, I definitely agree with you 100%, Quiet Storm. Like Quiet Storm saying, before it escalates to the next level, to a serious matter, you pretty much follow up with a paper trail. A paper trail, and also you put a person over the side. Now, when we say put a person over the side, we don't mean you grab them and say, "Yo, we got to talk." No, I mean you say listen. You just pretty much when you speak with the person, you catch them in a good mood. You catch him, and you know what? I need to talk to you for a minute. They're gonna say, okay, you know what I'm saying, and that person know, he or she know they do you dirty. They know that.
And pretty much they know you're gonna. They pretty much know what you're gonna talk about because they might play stupid at first though, but they know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah. So they know exactly like crossing. They know what you're talking about. Now, if that communication break down and you're unable to have that talk, then you pretty much you do the paper trail. Paper trail is very important, people. You have to be specific with that paper trail. You just can't say such and such did this, such and such did that, this and that and third, and you leave a whole blank. You leave the 5 W's: who, what, where, when, how, and why. And you have to list the numbers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Listen the numbers. Then you give it to the supervisor. You give the supervisor. You put supervisor aside. You give the supervisor. Allow the supervisor to do their job.
Now hold up, D Gutter. Now what suppose is not an employee? What suppose is a supervisor?
Okay, okay. If it's a supervisor, if it's a supervisor, it's the same steps. First thing first, you pull that supervisor over the side and you have a talk. Now that supervisor pretty much, because most supervisors, they your boss, your supervisor ain't trying to hear it. Remember, supervisors have a boss too. They have a boss too. So the same steps that we say as an employee, you do the same steps to a supervisor. You pull them aside. That doesn't work.
And people, wait a minute, D Gutter, wait a minute. And people, please, whatever you do, look, don't write up a supervisor. That ain't gonna work. That's gonna backfire in your face, and that supervisor will actually make that workplace very hostile and living hell for you. The last thing you want to do is start writing the supervisor, especially you're a regular employee.
I definitely agree because 9 out of 10 you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. Most people think supervisors are dumb, slow. I'm gonna fight. Remember that person had that title for a reason. That person got that title being dumb. He ain't got that title being dumb and being slow.
Not only that, though, the company actually trusts him or her.
Exactly. And also remember this, people. The more you complain about a supervisor, the more they think they're doing their job.
Exactly.
That's the way management thinks. Now getting back to my conversation before I lose train of thought here, because this is very important. This is information that especially young black people, men, need to hear. The same way you do to employee, the same way you do to supervisor. You create paper trail. Then you bring forward to the boss. You sit down, you bring forward to the boss. And remember, people, once you do that, you have to be on your P's and Q's.
You gotta be on your A game.
You have to be on your A game.
Yeah, definitely your A game.
Because they're gonna look for anything.
Any infraction of nail you.
If you could get a transfer, do it.
Yes,
if you can't, my next advice is pretty much look for another job before they get you fired or make it a hostile working environment. And trust me, you don't want to work in a hostile working environment. You don't.
That's the last thing you want.
It's very stressful, very, very intense, and the whole purpose is to pretty much to do 2 things: get you fired or make you want to fight.
That's the quickest way for you to enter assault charge.
Yeah, so they can put charges on you.
Quickest way.
When I mean by charges on you, call the police and try to get you locked up. And I see that happen plenty of times before people find a workplace and they both get charges put on them. And which is sad. It's a sad case. It's very sad. But if you follow the steps that me, D Gutter, and Quiet Storm tell you, you can keep your job. You can take it from there up, Quiet Storm.
Like I said before, I remember the time I was working at my job. I'm talking about my first job that I had, right? and I also got in an altercation with an employee. And I basically try to take matters in my own hands. And I actually learned from that experience when I got fired. Now, when I got a second job back in the workforce, okay, I pretty much watch what's going on. I look around. I trying to find out who's the shot callers, who's the bosses. I mean, who's the people that actually in power. Okay, I ain't talk about no fake boss or some acting supervisor, somebody pretending to be the boss. I actually try to find out who is the shot callers. Because actually, when you find out who the shot callers or who calling the shots, you could pretty much, you pretty much got figure out how the way the game is played. You learn. You learn through watching. That's what it is. You find out who's troublemaker. You can find out. You're also gonna find out who's on your side, who's against you, who's plotting against you, who's trying to get you fired. That's the main thing. Cause normally when you come work at a job, especially a new job, you pretty much gonna follow the protocol. You're gonna pretty much watch what's going on, and you're gonna follow actually what they do. Now, a smart employee actually get questions. Oh, why we have to do that? Oh, why this? Why that? If you're smart, you get questions. But I tell you right now, people, when you start working at a job, the first thing you want to do is make no trouble. Come to work on time, do your job, stay out of bullshit,
and also, Quiet Storm, people, when you make a complaint, somebody is listening.
Oh yeah, they always listening.
Don't think nobody not listening. If they look like they downplaying, they're not downplaying.
No, they ain't downplaying. They actually listening. They're actually listening. And just because they ain't writing it down doesn't mean they listening. They also take a mental note. Trust me, people. They will take a mental note. I'm talking about you. If you actually complain supervisor and like the supervisor ain't writing stuff down, he or she taking a mental note. And trust me, they will remember that. They will remember that incident. Trust me, they will. Yes.
And also, this is a message for young black males, especially. When you make that complaint, allow the supervisor to do their job. Don't automatically take matters in your own hands. They are supervisor for a reason. That's the reason why they got them there. That's the reason they got that position. Upper management going to wait till they have to wait for the supervisor to resolve it. And if the supervisor cannot resolve it, then the HR department comes in. But don't automatically undermine that supervisor. He's weak, he's soft. Oh, he ain't gonna do nothing. I'm gonna go to HR. I'm telling you, people, what's gonna happen is that it's gonna turn on you. It's gonna guess what? Now you got two enemies. You got the person that beef at work with, and you got the supervisor as well and beef with you. And that's a bad combination.
And also, people,
my advice is, if it gets to that way, young people, leave.
Now, you pretty much say some key factors there, but you see, it doesn't hurt to also use reverse psychology. That's why I use reverse psychology.
Mm-hmm.
I use reverse psychology, then I pretty much come down to a solution as quick as possible before it actually escalate, before that spark turn to a fire.
But Quiet Storm, you already know young people are very impatient.
I know they're very impatient. I understand because right now the day youngsters attention span is like a nanosecond.
Yeah, because if they have a problem in the workplace, they want to get resolved, and they don't understand. It's steps. Nobody ain't gonna stop what they doing just because you have a problem.
Yep, it's level to it.
That's why we say you have to develop paper trail. And you have to follow up on it. Don't make a paper trail, make a complaint, and then pretty much now the beef is squashed, and you just fall back on it. You know what I'm saying? And then that's your fault because pretty much you failed to follow the paper trail.
Okay.
Now, if you have a problem with that person, if you have a problem with that person in the workplace, and you or her or he or she doesn't get along whatsoever, and you put a person on the side, right? You do the paper trail. Now, man, if y'all do make an agreement and y'all pretty much squash the beef, still follow that paper trail.
That's
still
right.
follow that paper trail. You got to
Doesn't
be
hurt.
consistent.
That's one thing I agree with you, D-Gut, on that. Most people do not follow up behind it. They don't do follow-ups.
You have to be persistent. You can't be one day persistent and next day be inconsistent. It's like a little boy crying wolf. Nobody's gonna take you serious.
Okay.
Sometimes that person, sometimes that person will befriend you because then that person know you put a complaint on them, and then after a while they befriend you and they wait for it to calm down, and then they're gonna do that attack move on you. And by that time, since you didn't file the paperwork, right, and since you told the supervisor everything been resolved, which it wasn't, now that person gonna come with that attack move. Now guess what? Now you gonna look like you the aggressor.
Exactly.
You gonna look like you the aggressor, and that person and look like they defending themselves. So even though it resolved, still follow up with the paperwork and be consistent.
Okay. Right now I'm gonna end the live stream. So thank you, D-Gutter, for your participation in this stream here, and to all my subscribers. I'd like to say thanks to y'all guys, because without my subscribers, I'll be nothing. I'll be nothing, because I do care about my subscribers. And also leave your commentary beneath the video, because I do care to hear what my subscribers have to say. Leave your commentary. I take all types of comments, good, bad, positive, negative. And once again, this is D-Gutter right here.
Hold on. Before you close, Quiet Storm. People, once again, we do everything on the fly here. And if you're not gonna subscribe, hit that like button.
Yeah, we definitely doing everything on the ground here.
We taking time from. We both coming from work.
Yep.
And we work long, strenuous hours. We work hard.
And see what it is.
We young black men work hard, and we have to no matter how tired and stressful our job is, no matter how tired, we always make time for the show.
Definitely, because
we always try to pretty much leave you on a positive note.
Positive message, because definitely we all got busy lives. I mean, and pretty much like I said before, I always make time to do a live stream because I do care about my subscribers. And like I said before, and I say it again, pretty much leave your commentary with the video. I respond to and hit the like button. Definitely hit the like button. Leave your commentary underneath the video. Because I do respond to all types of commentary, all types of comments, good, bad, positive, negative. This is D-Gutter here, and once again, this is Quiet Storm. Till the next time we meet again, guys. Later.